This is going into the 70 weeks of Daniel. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and kick it off with Daniel 9 and 24. It says, 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city to finish the transgression and to make an end of sins and to make reconciliation of iniquity and to bring in everlasting righteousness and to seal up the vision and prophecy and anoint the most holy. And starting from the beginning, 70 weeks. Now, how many days are in a week? It's 7. So, he says 70 weeks. So if there's 7 weeks and it's 70, it will be 70 times 7. Which brings you to what? 490. 490 days. Now, understanding 490 days, you must go to Numbers 14 and 34, or you can go to Genesis 29 and 27. I'm going to go to Numbers 14 and 34 first, as the first witness. Numbers 14 and 34. It says, after the number, I'll start with verse 33. And your children, Numbers 14 and 33, and your children shall wander in the wilderness 40 years, and bear your whoredoms until your carcasses be wasted in the wilderness. After the number of the days in which ye searched the land, even 40 days, each year for a day, shall ye bear your iniquities, even 40 years, and ye shall know my breach of promises. So every day represented a year when he's talking to him. So that's to put things into perspective for you. So each day represents a year. Back over here, Genesis 29 and 27. As another witness. All right, found it. This is Genesis 29 and verse 27. It says, fulfill her week, and we will give thee also for the service which thou shalt serve with me yet 7 other years. So 7 years, a week. A week is 7 days. You equated that to 7 years. So each day represents a year. So that's the first thing you understand with the 70 weeks are determined upon thy people. So it's 490 days. After that 490 days, you convert that to years, so that's 490 years. It says, are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city to finish the transgression and to make an end of sins and to make reconciliation for iniquity and to bring in everlasting righteousness and to seal up the vision and prophecy and anoint the most holy. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the prince shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. The street shall be built and the wall in troubling times. So now, understanding that, you got to go to going forth of the commandments. That comes from Cyrus, then Darius, then Artaxerxes. You can go that to Ezra chapter 1. Just past the Ezra chapter 1 and verse 1 through 2. It says, now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of Yahweh by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled, Yahweh stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of the Persians, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, and put it also in his writing. Thus saith Cyrus, king of Persia, Yahweh God of heaven hath given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and hath charged me to build him a house at Jerusalem, which is in Judah. What is that house? That's the temple. So it was destroyed by the Babylonians, who are the Assyrians. And what happened was the Persians we were allowed to build it again under the Persians. So we got the commandment is coming from him right here. This is the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem. And this is right here, build a house of Jerusalem. Verse 3. This is verse 3. Who is there among you of all his people, his God be with him, and let him go up to Jerusalem, which is Judah, and build the house of Yahweh, God of Israel. He is the God which is in Jerusalem. So that goes the commandment. It came from Cyrus. Now, if you keep reading, it'll go into more detail. For time's sakes, I'm going to skip a little bit. Now, the next verse is Ezra 6:1. It says, Then Darius the king made a decree, and search was made in the house of the rolls where the treasury were laid up in Babylon. And there was found at Akhmah, in the place that is in the province of the Medes, a roll, and therein was a record thus written: In the first year of Cyrus, king of the same Cyrus, the king made a decree concerning the house of God at Jerusalem. Let the house be builded, the place where they offer sacrifices. So, we'll stop in the middle of that verse. But that's the same verse we just read. That's the same. So they went, that was a record in Ezra 1:1. They went and go look for it, and they're okay, yeah, you're right, there is a record there. The reason why he had to stop is because you keep reading. Matter of fact, in Daniel, what is this? 9:25. I'm gonna read the verse again. I'll read it again. It says, Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment which we just read, to restore and build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, all the way to Yahushua comes back, shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. The street shall be built, and the wall in troublous times. So, in between First Ezra chapter 1:1 and Ezra 6:1, there's Ezra 4:1. And the wall building in troublous times, that's because they tried to stop and hinder us from building. This is Ezra. Excuse me. 4:1. It says, Now when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of captivity builded the temple unto Yahweh God of Israel, then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers, and said unto them, Let us build with you, for we seek your God as ye do, and we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Esarhaddon, king of Ashur, which brought us up hither. For Zerubbabel and Yahushua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said unto them, Ye have nothing to do with us to build an house unto our God, but we ourselves together will build unto Yahweh God of Israel, as King Cyrus, king of Persia have commanded us. Going back to Ezra 1 and 1. That was the commandment. Verse 4, then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah and troubled them in building, and hired counselors against them to frustrate their purpose all the days of Cyrus, king of Persia, even until the reign of Darius, king of Persia. So it was this is the troublous times. They were trying to hinder us. Verse 6, and in the reign of Ahasuerus, in the beginning of his reign, wrote they unto him an accusation against the inhabitants of Judah and Jerusalem. And that's Xerxes. And in the days of Artaxerxes, wrote Bishalom, Mithridath, Tabal, and the rest of their companions unto Artaxerxes, king of Persia. And the writing of the letter was written in the Syrian tongue, interpreted in the Syrian tongue. So that goes into how the Most High had it to where we were allowed to build. Even though it was being built in troublous times, we still were allowed to build, despite the heathens coming up against us and trying to hinder us and stop us. It says 7 weeks, 62 weeks. And that represents 69 weeks or 493 years. That's in verse 25. And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. How shall I being cut off, meaning he went on the cross and died for our sins. And the people of the prince that shall come, and the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood, and unto the end of the war desolations are determined. Say, now, the end of the war. What wars are you talking about? The Roman Jewish wars. You can read about those. It says, and the end thereof shall be with a flood. The flood is talking about what? 70 AD. Real quick, this is Matthew 11 and 12. If I could get there. Matthew's and it says, and from the days of John the Baptist unto now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violence taketh by force. Constantly going through wars, being attacked. So that was going on all the way back then. Well, from Daniel's perspective, this is the future when he was on the scene. Verse 27, and he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. Okay, now, this is talking about the agreement that Rome had with Israel, saying basically, we're going to allow y'all to keep y'all temple, keep y'all laws and stuff like that. And what do? They reneged on it. So that 1 week again, 1 week every day is a year. So that's 7 years. So that goes back to that 69 weeks. In verse 25, it says 7 weeks and 62 weeks. No, Slakia, not 493. That's 483. It would be 483. It says, where are we back at again? Confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. So all this is in the time span of that 70 weeks. So for one of those weeks, so there's 70 weeks. Only one of those weeks will be 69 weeks. It will be for 7 years. We'd have a peace. And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease. That's talking about Rome breaking the covenant. So they said we could, and then all of a sudden in the middle of the week, nah, scrap that. And for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate even until the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. And that goes to Matthew 24 and verse 15. It says Matthew 24 verse 15. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, we're reading that now, stand in the holy place. Whoso readeth, let him read. Understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is in the housetop not come down to take anything out of this house. So that's talking about all the way from it's talking about a time period from the going forth commandment, which is second Ezra's. Not second Ezra's. First Ezra's chapter 1, verse 1 through verse 3. The going forth the command by Cyrus all the way to the flood. So this is specifically talking about the resurrection of the second temple and the destruction of the second temple. That's that time frame. I hope this lesson has been edifying. And on that note, I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders of GMS well. Peace, salutations, and shalom.